Same game tonight. Texans-Bears, neither QB will play, but the question is, which QB would you rather start a franchise with, CJ or Caleb? Anybody wants to take it?
Okay, well, you're going to direct it to somebody?
You liked it. I don't
Anyone?
know.
Go ahead.
CJ. It's an easy answer for me. Not that I don't think Caleb will be good, but there's one simple difference. CJ is already proven. CJ has proven that he can play at a super high level in the NFL. And not only has he proven that, he's proven he can win a playoff game against a very good defensive team that had time to prepare for him. He's proven that he can, to use your term, Coach, be a force multiplier. None of his weapons last year, none of his skill position players had ever made a Pro Bowl. And he still led this moribund franchise to the playoffs. So he's already proven that what he can do, and Caleb hasn't. As great as Caleb is, we don't know that he's definitely going to be great.
You take every pro that's shown anything over any rookie.
No, because CJ's proven that he can be a star.
So, but you take Purdy over Stroud.
No, I'm not as over Stroud.
I'm sorry, over Caleb. I misspoke. I'm sorry.
That's not the question.
I get it. But what I'm saying is, if the argument,
sure.
Obviously, Caleb hasn't proven it. Caleb's a rookie, and the season hasn't started.
And we're not talking about somebody that's just proven. Oh, he had a nice little cute rookie year. No. This dude was awesome, and some people are thinking he could win MVP. So yeah, I'm going with CJ.
Okay, go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, it's a difficult comparison because CJ does have the benefit of coming in as a rookie with all the pressure, and it's really hard to do as a rookie to do what he did and to do it with the type of team that he did. And when you watched him in college, there was a lot of good plays, but you're cynical because there hadn't been a lot of good Ohio State quarterbacks who'd been productive in the NFL. And so for him to achieve at that level, that's significant. Now, when you watch Caleb on tape, and I went into it with maybe not the most open mind because of how much Nick tried to shove it down our throats with Mahomes Mountain.
But then tape don't lie, does it, Coach?
And then as you watch the tape, there are a significant amount of wow plays. And that's really all you can say because he's moving around the pocket. He's making these really dynamic, special plays. So you look at his ceiling, and you think, if I'm starting an organization, as much as I love what CJ did, you're gonna you're gonna bet that he has the same trajectory, and that if he does, the ceiling is higher than what CJ.
See, this is very often the exact beats of Coach and my football relationship.
What is that?
I say something in such a bombastic, abrasive manner. Yeah. Coach wants it to be wrong. And then he dives into the data and the tape, and he discovers, unfortunately, against all of his wishes, the tape don't lie. And so, listen, the reason I wasn't trying to put you in a weird spot, Brew, but the points you were making are totally fair, but it almost disqualifies anybody who hasn't played yet. Like that Caleb, because he.
No. I'm going to let this clip play, but I got to insert this because I know they're not going to defend Brew enough. What Brew is trying to say in terms of CJ Stroud and over Caleb Williams is that CJ Stroud is kind of proven and that he's shown that he can be a star and that he can win and he can do these things. And so then now Nick is kind of trying to twist that. And I don't think he's doing it like to obviously be like extra mean or anything, but he's good at backing people into a corner. That's what, Nick is a good debater. And he's saying, well, what about Purdy then? Like you would pick, Caleb over Purdy. He thinks that CJ Stroud has shown that the ceiling is mega high, that CJ Stroud has shown enough to prove that his ceiling is either as high as what Caleb Williams can offer, or maybe right around it, right below it, right above it maybe, whatever it may be. And so that's a safe bet because you're already able to get maybe 95% of what people believe Caleb Williams can be. So it's a safer bet to pick CJ Stroud over Caleb Williams. Whereas Brock Purdy, and he used Brock Purdy specifically because he knows that Brew thinks he's great, he's saying that Brock Purdy's ceiling, according to Brew, is like a Drew Brees, which is great, which is unbelievable, which is Hall of Fame, which is any quarterback would be more than happy to, or any team would be more than happy to have a Drew Brees level quarterback. But it's not Patrick Mahomes. It's not Tom Brady. So it's like, well, do you want to roll the dice for a Caleb Williams, considering you've never seen him play in the NFL? and pick him because that ceiling is going to most likely, you're betting on that it's going to be significantly higher, like a big notch higher than, say, a Brock Purdy. So I wanted to explain that because I don't think that they're going to. I haven't seen this clip yet, but I'm imagining that they're not going to.
He hasn't. We've seen nothing from him. Having seen nothing from him, and having seen as little as I have from Stroud, these guys would be, if the question were, every player in the league's available, contract and age matters. Draft. Number 1 pick for everyone with a brand v. Patrick Mahomes. For me, 2 and 3 would be these two guys. Because it doesn't mean that either one's better than Josh Allen or Lamar right now, but so much younger and for the next 4 years and 5 years, so much cheaper that I think that they have massive value. But my answer to this question is Caleb Williams.
Wow.
I think Caleb Williams has a very real chance to be dominant in the NFC and the clear-cut second-best quarterback in the league by the end of his 3rd season. Clear cut. And I think that everyone right now is playing for second place over the next 5 to 8 years. It doesn't mean second place as far as Super Bowls, but as far as quarterback rankings. And I think you have to have a guy who has those wow attributes. Because we are operating in a world right now of superhero quarterbacks as far as Josh Allen's size, Lamar's speed. Caleb seems mature beyond his years. Like, that's why you've asked, like, can the prototypical pocket passer, you know what I mean, still be dominant in this league? So Stroud would be my 3rd pick of anyone in the league to start a franchise, but Caleb would be my 2nd. So
there's a lot of wow players who have underachieved.
I understand, but Coach, this is what I'm saying, Coach. But you agree with me.
But
Coach, you agree with me.
Stroud.
I had to compare apples to oranges, and the wow plays.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit more. Saying that you're going to pick C.J. Stroud over a Josh Allen or even a Caleb Williams, because he kind of confused me because he's saying age matters and contracts matter. I think he said it was a little confusing because he was saying like age matters, but under that logic, then you would maybe not pick Mahomes because Mahomes is technically getting older. Obviously, Mahomes is great, and you're going to want to pick him. But if we're kind of like moving things around in a way to be like, well, that's why we're not going to pick Josh Allen because of how much money he's going to be owed and his age. But then like still kind of just pick Patrick Mahomes. So it's kind of wonky. So I'm going to just set that aside because it wasn't even clear to me what he was trying to exactly say. I'm going to look at it from just these quarterbacks, they're all 100% healthy. We're guaranteed to have 5 years of health, okay? 5 years of their health and their prime, so to speak, or they're coming into their prime, depending on their age, and money's all the same, right? They're all getting paid $212 million a year for their contract. And it's like, okay, so who would you pick? Obviously, Patrick Mahomes at the top. And then I'm going to go with Josh Allen. And it's tough because since we're doing this whole thing with the health-wise, you're like, well, what about Joe Burrow? Because if Joe Burrow is 100% healthy, you have to imagine that he's going to be deadly. I just like the versatility of Josh Allen personally. And I just think you're more guaranteed to be competitive with the Josh Allen because of what he can do. And especially in this thought experiment where I'm saying they're all going to be healthy, well, then I don't worry about him just barreling through the defense, and so I feel a little bit more comfortable with that. But again, it also all depends on your team and your design. I really think we're at a place where you really can't go wrong, where if you have the coaching, if you have the team in place, you're not going to go wrong with Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. I really think that those 3 quarterbacks not only have the ability, the physical ability, but also above the shoulders, in their mind to be able to win. I really think that if Joe Burrow was fully healthy and was drafted by Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs, he is a multi-time Super Bowl winner, a multi-MVP. There's just no doubt in my mind. And I do the same thing with Josh Allen as well, as you guys all know. C.J. Stroud does need to prove a little bit more. I'm confident. I've already said this before, where if I had to pick right now Stroud or over Dak, I would pick, C.J. Stroud without a doubt. If I had to pick Love over Dak, I'd pick Love. That those are a little bit easier for me to figure out. But if you said, what about Love over Josh Allen, over Joe Burrow, over, CJ Stroud, over these, Caleb Williams is a gigantic question mark because we don't know. Again, as you guys know, I'm super, super, super high on Caleb. I think Caleb will be an elite talent, potentially an all-time great. I really do not doubt him in that regard. But technically, if we're going to play this game of like, who would you rather start? And we're going to be like, well, you gotta have to hedge your bets. Technically, more can go wrong with Caleb. And I think that's kind of what Mangini was going to try to say for a little bit, but they just didn't finish the segment. More can go wrong technically with Caleb because he can do so much that it's just you can kind of hurt yourself in many different ways, and it also becomes a little bit more difficult to coach, and you need a higher level coach and a higher level GM to be able to put the pieces around you. And again, I think Caleb will succeed, but theoretically, I just think that you need some smart people in the room to be able to maximize Caleb Williams that you may not need necessarily for a Tom Brady, just making that up, a Tom Brady type of person. But with all that said, I really don't know. My gut tells me that Caleb Williams, this is a tough one. My gut tells me Caleb will probably be more jaw-dropping than a CJ Stroud's career. If we look at their career and they both play for 10 years, I think Caleb, if he has the support of the coaching staff and the team around him, he will have the ability to kind of just really blow people away. But my fear with Caleb is that he could have a similar career to that of a Josh Allen, where people are constantly saying he's amazing, but they're like, okay, but then why isn't he having team success? And it's like, well, because his offensive line is bad, and he has another defensive head coach. What are the Bears doing? Right? It just feels like it could be very similar to all the things that I say about Josh Allen, and it does seem like right now the Texans are really supporting CJ Stroud, and not to say that I'm not saying that I don't think that the Bears aren't supporting Caleb Williams, but you kind of have to wait to see like how the season progresses and do they drag their feet with Eberflus? And let's say Eberflus does get fired because they don't reach their expectations. Who do they hire? Do they hire another defensive head coach? Do they hire Bill Belichick? Like, I don't know what type of moves that they do. Are they progressive and aggressive in the decisions they make? It remains to be seen. We don't obviously know. And so I don't know. I don't think that the Bills have done enough to support a Josh Allen. And I think that's been very problematic. And for anyone who really knows football, knows just how elite Josh Allen is, or just even look at Justin Herbert, who hasn't even had the success of Josh Allen. And to me, it's very obvious. And I talk about this with like JCT Slice, Travis O'Shea, subscribers, where we're like, this guy's clearly a top quarterback in the NFL, but he's never been able to consistently show it because he doesn't have the coaching and the roster. But it's obvious. And they've been very slow to support him. Now they're finally making moves. They finally got Harbaugh. And now I think within the next couple of years, people will really be able to see just how elite a Justin Herbert is. So to me, that's probably the biggest question mark with Caleb. Right now, we actually have the data of like what they're doing with CJ Stroud, and they went out and got pieces. They upgraded, on offense and defense. Like they really truly upgraded. The other question mark though that I would have with Stroud is what does he look like when he's ultimately going to get a new OC? Because that's guaranteed to happen. His current OC will eventually, as long as CJ Stroud is continuing to ball out and play great, their OC, the Texans OC, is going to be gone. He'll be gone in a couple years, and he's going to get another job somewhere else, probably a head coaching job. And then it's like, what does CJ Stroud take a step back? What is it? What does that look like? That's a real, genuine question mark. So I really don't think you could go wrong with either of these quarterbacks. It's like on one side, you could say I'm going to lean towards Stroud because I feel like he's more supported and I feel as though he's already kind of proven what he can do. But that's no fun because it's like, well, obviously he gets a leg up because he's played for a year, right? And then it's like, well, okay, then now if you want to go for Caleb. But my gut tells me Caleb should have the higher ceiling, but he needs to be supported. just like I think technically Josh Allen is capable of having a higher ceiling than Patrick Mahomes, he's not supported enough. Plus, I'm not so sure if Josh Allen could truly reach that ceiling, because I think that you can make the argument that Patrick Mahomes is a little bit better above the shoulders than a Josh Allen, right? I think he might process the game a little bit better and be more willing to be a game manager. Patrick Mahomes is more willing to do those little things that maybe aren't as spectacular that Josh Allen seems to struggle with. I think that if you have a good coach, you can kind of potentially coach that out of them and help them understand, but not always. Definitely not always. It's something that definitely hurt a Carson Wentz, for instance, and many other quarterbacks before him. So it really is. I struggle with this hypothetical, and I love hypotheticals. I love doing these random thought experiments, but it really is interesting. I just think it's kind of difficult because there's just too many variables at play to really kind of give a definitive answer, which is why I always do my groups rather than kind of just individual numbers. So it's just really like I put CJ Stroud, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, all in that category of, yeah, just pick them. These are all the quarterbacks that you will absolutely 100%, no question, no ifs, ands, or buts, start a franchise with. And I think CJ Stroud has kind of earned that right, which again, it's early, but this is what sports talk is all about, is kind of being early, is putting him in that category. And I think you can make the argument that you should throw in Jordan Love in there as well. And Caleb, he probably technically does not have a ticket to that party just yet, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's a very risky bet to say that he will be there, especially within the next couple of years, which is technically what Nick said, that he said by the end of the third year, I think, as the way he phrased it, is that he thinks that Caleb will be the second best quarterback in the NFL, which is interesting because yesterday, or whenever you were watching this video a couple days ago, Nick said that he believes that CJ Stroud at the end of this season will be voted as the second best quarterback under Mahomes. So then it just seems like, well, then Caleb is going to leapfrog him. So I'm excited by all this high level quarterback play, honestly, because for years, as NFL fans, we've had to watch a lot of games with a lot of bad quarterbacks. Either your own team was suffering at the hands of bad quarterback play, or you're watching other games of just bad quarterback play. And it seems like we're getting to the point now where it just seems like being a top 15 quarterback actually means like you are great. Like it's no longer like, oh, you're pretty good or you're average. Like top 15 is like great. And I really wonder if we'll get to a point where top 20 quarterbacks will be considered great. And then maybe only the top 5 is when it's elite. But again, it ends up being a separation of inches and not, feet and yards and miles. So I'm excited. The fact that a question like this is so difficult to answer, at least for me, means to me just how good I'm expecting all of these quarterbacks to end up being. So I honestly, I just, each day that passes, I get more and more excited to see how this all unfolds. But I'm really curious. What do you guys think? Obviously, Stroud has the leg up because he's played for a year. I get that. But I encourage you to look past that. Try to shelve that and just be like what you think Caleb will be or is capable of being versus what you technically have already seen in CJ Stroud. Who would you pick to kind of start your franchise? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.